GM Crypto News out here. It is February 28th. And before I get into the video, please read the description below and take up the show with the tokens. Well, let's talk about the price action of the majors here. So Bitcoin is still in the 80s range here and pretty much ranging. It's squeezed higher from the shorts ever since it hit the liquidation zone of 78K here and looking pretty solid here, at least in the last two 4-hour candles. And I'm expecting over the weekend, because we are closing soon, that we're not really going to expect much volatility, and it depends on either we're going to bounce from 83 to 85K as we see from the liquidation heat map, or possibly a squeeze higher to like 87K, which would be quite nice based off the liquidation heat map. So I'm just basing off that thesis here, and otherwise, if not that and it doesn't hold this 83K level though, then it's possible we're going to retest the 70s again the weekend. So that is the levels to look for, and nothing really too crazy to say here. If we're going to say anything strong alt-wise, Solana is, I guess you could say, strong, but if you zoom out, it's not really strong. It's more of a relief rally. But Solana here looks pretty good, and it has a bullish structure forming once again. So this could see a bit of retest of the higher levels again if Bitcoin does squeeze a little bit higher and touch this 87K liquidation zone. So I'm a little bit short-term bullish, and I wouldn't say midterm for now because we pulled back this long, and most likely if we hit the previous liquidation level like 91K or something, then the market or crypto trader is going to be so bullish again sentiment-wise, and then it's going to nuke us all the way down back to like 70 something. So I wouldn't get too horny once again, but there is still some time for some short-term upside, and it is more probabilities for that, especially with how fucked the last few daily candles have been. Well, that'd be quite nice to see. And let's look at the price action of the alt. So first off, with the AI sector, so I like this one, but ARC is pretty much going sideways, not that much price action. ASXZ is actually pretty strong of the AI coins, but it's also been beaten down so badly that perhaps it's some sort of recovery pump. We'll see what's going to happen. A lot of them a little wishy-washy. I think one of the most interesting ones is Floyd AI on Solana AI, which is pretty strong. But again, it's been beaten down. A lot of these tokens have been beaten down so long. If we look at base AI, well, okay, some of them are green, like Glinker. They a little bit, but Glinker's probably the best one. All of them very strong here. And if it gets listed, or when it gets listed, because it will be listed, then we could see some upside price action. If you look at meme coins, so base memes, well, maybe like things like KeyCat, well, if you zoom out, not really looking the best here. But I think meme coins will be bouncing again somehow soon. If we look at the meme coins in Solana, these are probably the strongest out of all of them, which is really interesting to see. So like seeing the strength, especially on Popcat here, especially in this market. And this shows that people are actually really interested in Solana meme coins, at least the older ones, like Popcat, Selfie, and Michi, perhaps. Okay, Michi is a little bit stagnant today, but that's because it already went up a lot from the bottom, and maybe it has to do sideways before another leg up. But a lot of attention is actually on Solana meme coins, which is really interesting to see. Also on some Solana AI, but it's hard to say which one is going to be the higher performing sector immediately. But the fact that Solana memes are bouncing a little bit, which could also be attributed to the fact that they've been beaten down so hard. It's hard to say which one is going to be stronger, in my own opinion. I still think Solana AI is a better narrative, but the fact that Solana memes are catching this attention, which I believe can be accrued to the fact that meme coins are getting a lot of attention because Elon Musk and Joe Rogan were talking about them, and the recent deregulation of securities on the meme coins by the SEC, well, that gives meme coins a much better narrative in the short term compared to AI, which could be attributed to this recent strength. So that's something to look at. So I would still say AI. I still think it's a really good narrative, but the fact that meme coins are catching some more bids and the fact that they're a lot more green on this day compared to AI say something about what the market likes. So perhaps we could look more into meme coins, but of course you don't get too horny yet because most likely they won't do V-shaped recoveries just yet. Most likely still a bit more sideways before they continue their up-only rallies. So you still have time to think about which one is going to be the better sector. And if we look at the tweets here, mental game, reduce the emotional volatility, never too up, never too down, always look for new opportunities. Unlike the markets, you can actually learn to control your mental. Yeah, so your mental control, your emotional control is probably one of the most important things, especially in crypto, where it's always super volatile and it fucks with your emotions. It's out to get you. It's designed that way, and you need to have control over yourself in order to excel. So let's look at this. Breaking Elon Musk sells Joe Rogan and meme coins are like a casino or something. So this was somehow attributed to the meme coin narrative, but I'll watch the video with you
The
guys.
whole meme coin thing is bananas.
Yeah.
It is so bananas that people dump real money into these coins, and
Yeah.
then you could just pump
It's
them
like
up and
it's like
sell them.
a
And
casino or something. I don't know.
yeah, it's totally
And did people
gambling.
just do whatever the greater fool theory and like
Yeah,
musical chairs and whoever's like the last to sit down loses
yeah,
type of thing.
and somehow or another, it's still legal. Like
Yeah.
that's
I
how.
mean, the thing is,
He's talking about pump
not,
fund,
I
by the
think not
way.
too many people.
But
I mean, it's sort of like you go to the casino. Like if you expect to win at the casino, you're being a fool. Okay.
Right.
So I think if you expect to win at meme coins, you're being you're being foolish. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
you're not
people,
going to win at meme coins. It's like it's but if you want, like, don't sink your life savings into a meme coin.
no, but
That
you
would be
can
insane.
gamble a little, and you can
Yeah.
ride waves and win a
Yeah.
little and lose a little.
If you want to have some fun,
Yeah.
and don't come, then
Yes.
play with meme coins. Don't,
But
just
if you put your
don't bet the
family's
palm.
if you put your
Don't bet
family's
the
wealth
palm on a meme coin.
in the Hawk
At
2
the risk
coin,
of saying something
yeah.
bold and outrageous, don't bet the farm on a meme coin.
The weird one is the pump and dumps. Like people
happen all
get
the time.
all the time,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
people
I mean,
get shocked that somebody pumps.
every
and
meme
dumps.
coin
Like,
is a pump
what
and dump.
is-
It just depends on the time
What are you
frame.
doing? Did like I was hoping to dump. I was hoping to make all the money out of this. I can't believe they got me. Like
Yeah.
it's just weird that it's legal still.
I mean,
Casinos are illegal.
Yeah.
And
It is like
people
a
just
casino.
lose money at casinos.
Yeah.
you know.
I'm gonna let
But
them
you
finish,
can't
but I have
rig
an
a
argument to
casino,
this.
like a pump and dump. You could rig a pump and dump. You know,
Yeah, I guess so.
like you could run a real pyramid scheme.
Well, I mean, the government's one big pyramid scheme, if you ask me.
Yeah. Well, you can tell
I
me
mean,
better than anybody.
Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time.
Yep. Well, the fact that they're really pointing out that crypto is a Ponzi scheme, the pyramid scheme, that it's just a pump and dump, everyone's trying to make money, and the person who's earliest makes the most. That's true, right? I'm not going to deny that for crypto at all. But this somehow feigns ignorance on a lot of other markets like real estate and even stocks, where it's the same exact design, where it's going to be the retail investors who got in first and earlier. So let's take, for example, real estate. For my example, Generation Z, well, we're going to have a very tough time trying to afford real estate if we are just working our normal ass 9 to 5 jobs. It's pretty very hard for us to try to own a house at this point because of the current growth rate of houses. It costs hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to buy a fucking house. While back then, the motherfuckers who were working a McDonald's job can afford a house, buy it, support their whole wife and kids and their fucking dog with just a McDonald's job. And nowadays, that is unthinkable. So you could say that the Ponzi scheme also exists within the real world, within that McDonald's, and because of inflation and the real estate and how the older generations had a better time. I'm not trying to I mean, I guess you could say I'm somehow complaining because I am on the bottom of this pyramid scheme because I was born later, right? So you could argue if that's unfair or not. It probably is, but it's just the way how things are, right? But the fact that they're saying, oh, meme coins, how is this even legal? And you can just pump it down. I mean, it's because you look at the effects of all the people who lose their money and get absolutely destroyed. It makes sense. It's at a more severe effect than what I'm saying here with like stocks and real estate. It's less likely you're going to see cases like those because meme coins are just way faster and they just rip through all-time highs and then go back down to zero within the span of 5 minutes. So you see these stories a lot more commonplace in meme coins, while the other places, everything here is a pump and dump. Everything's a Ponzi scheme, but it just depends on the time frame. It just happens to be that crypto is the shortest time frame, so it's able to squeeze in more of these events within a shorter time frame, while the other ones, real estate and stocks, S&P 500, well, eventually these don't go up forever, right? There eventually will be some sort of an economic failure and they'll eventually have some sort of a gigantic crash. It always happens. So just keep that in mind here. So let's look at this. Been mad busy at ETH Denver, and by the meantime, if you can see 80K and top AI coins are up, their bottom AI coins are most hype and highest was alt play. Therefore, the first to sell off dramatically. Crypto since front run macro moves, in my opinion, they'll be also ones who rebound most aggressively. So he's talking about A16 ARC, but yeah, he's talking about meme coins, or he's not talking about meme coins, but AI coins. And I want to point out that meme coins are also very strong here too. So I would definitely say this is a very good sector to focus on as well, especially with some new narratives supporting the meme coin narrative. But yeah, the AI narrative, it is something different to memes. However, they are also green on day while Bitcoin is shitting the bed, and they haven't even gone down that much, by the way. So if we look at the AUDIC token, for example, it's been pretty much the same price for many weeks now, and Bitcoin has been down only. So that says some things about the price action of altcoins, where they seem to be pretty interesting. And as you can see as well, you could argue it's also been somehow the same price for the last few weeks, while Bitcoin has been going down. So that shows how well they've gone down so much already that they're bottoming here, which is usually a sign for perhaps reversal. But let's look at this. Justin, over 825 billion added to the U.S. stock market today. Very, very nice day for stocks. And usually this has a subsequential effect on crypto here because stocks are green. Thus, crypto will be green as a result. It's not because it's good for crypto, but because of a higher risk on sentiment, because people see green, emotional factor, they're going to ape into that. But last thing here, not the time to buy dips. We're still on a downward trend and not even bottom. There are plenty of opportunities to buy real cheap. This is not now. The time will come. Reserve your powder and don't get smoked. So this was released like 12 hours ago, but they have a point here. We see a bit of green here today, but you don't have to be in a rush here because notice that Bitcoin, it's still at a downtrend here. And this most likely, it could be the bottom here, hopefully, but it's still possible that we could fill this wick down here, retest this level once again sometime in the next few weeks before sending things higher. So just recognize that there is still that risk that exists, especially within this EMA where 76, this level has yet to be tested yet. And I mean, you could also argue 73, which was the last breakout zone. So it's not a time to get too horny and think everything's going to go up now, V-shaped recovery. No, it's going to take time for Bitcoin to go sideways for many weeks before we see this up-only rally once again. And I completely agree with this person. So keep this in mind. You can, honestly, like for the long term, this is a good price. But in the short term, you might want to rethink this strategy and you don't have to be in a rush to buy things. But that's pretty much all I want to say in this video. And currently, if I were to summarize the video into the weekend, we could see a bit of low volatility. I mean, weekends are always low volatility, but it's possible for a squeeze higher based on the liquidation heat map. That's honestly the highest probability case. But if not, it doesn't hold 83K, then Bitcoin will retest the high 70s once again into the weekend. And I think that eventually Bitcoin will try to retest a higher liquidation area around 90K in the couple of days or so. And everyone's going to be so euphoric again. They're going to think we're so back. But usually that ends up being a resistance here. And then it's going to fall back down and retest the lows again before it probably does a chop higher. That's most likely going to be a usual case. But it could also be that in the price action, like I'm not trying to pretend that I'm a predictor of this by any means. Maybe something like that. And then maybe something like this. And then maybe something like this, and then it's possible we have another leg down at some point to test that, and then that could be the bottom, and then we could see a bit of a grind higher, and most likely it's going to be a very high demand zone because it was the last relief rally. But yeah, right now it's still in a bearish market structure, so you don't have to get too horny about anything yet. But the fact is that AI tokens, all alts, memes have been bottomed, and they are really ready for next rally. So Bitcoin actually does fulfill the hypothesis and does a 5% pump to like 90K or so. We're going to see some nice things on alts. So that's pretty much all I'm saying in this video, and I'll see you guys.